Hi, I'm Vicki Denath, and I'm here with Chris Brown from the Kenora Borealis Multisport Club to talk about the swim run. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
So, Borealis has been doing triathlons for the last few years, but this year you're doing a swim run. Why did you decide to change it up?
Yeah, so Borealis has been a big part of the athletic community in Kenora for over 20 years now. And for the past 15 years, we've done a fairly large triathlon in town. And the reason we're switching gears is swim runs are actually a very big and upcoming sport here in Canada. And they originated actually overseas in Sweden. And since the popularity has been increasing across the world, we thought it would be a very good idea to feature a kind of new and exciting event in Kenora that really highlights the great aspects of Kenora and the athletic community that we have here to show off both nature and the athletic prowess of the locals here
Yeah, and you get to try something new.
and try something new. Exactly.
So, what is a swim run?
Swim run is an adventure race, and it's also like a competitive style race where athletes are switching between swimming and running over an entire distance. So back in Sweden where it started, people were island hopping. So they would swim from island to island and traverse the island via running on rough trail to get to the other side of the island, and then they would swim to the next island, and they would do that over an entire distance. So it's interesting because a swim run, you can kind of set it up anywhere where there's large bodies of lake and nice trail or roads, and it doesn't require the complex structure needed for a triathlon because you don't need to incorporate biking or bike trails, but you can also have it more in nature as well.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, it adds a bit of an adventure race to it component as well because athletes have to be cognizant that they're not just getting their swim leg over with all at once. They're swimming and then running, swimming and then running. So you're constantly getting in and out of the water.
Yep, and it's going to be at Garrow Park this year,
Yes.
and it's in July. So, what's the course going to be like at Garrow Park?
Yeah. So July 14th is the day of the event. So we're expecting really good conditions. Cross our fingers, we get good conditions every year at that time of year. Garrow Park is the place we usually host our triathlon space because it's a fantastic area where no motorized boats are in the lake. So we have very good conditions for swimmers. And it's a closed lake, so also very good conditions for swimmers. And the course at Garrow Park has a very, very nice loops that we can do inside Rabbit Lake trails that are both slightly paved, but there's also a lot of trails in the back that can be utilized to make great running loops. So our goal is to incorporate most of the running to be on Rabbit Lake trails and have people doing loops that consist between 1 kilometer to 2.5 kilometer loops, and then the swim components crossing Rabbit Lake back and forth over about 500-meter distances. So people will find themselves starting at Garrow Park Beach. They will swim across the lake. They'll run on the road to the other entry point of the lake, swim back to Rabbit Lake trails, do a loop, and then kind of horseshoe back and forth. And where the goal is to minimize the amount of road running people are doing because the part we really want to show off is the trail systems that we have so blessedly in Kenora.
Wow, are there different distances for people to participate in?
Yes, so we have a variety of distances that we're choosing because we want to cater to every athletic population in town. So we have a 5 kilometer light distance, we have a 10 kilometer sprint, and then we have a 20 kilometer standard distance. So the 5 kilometer, you're looking at about 1.5 kilometers of swimming and 3.5 kilometers of running. The 10K is about 3 kilometers of swimming and 7 kilometers of running, and the 20K is 5 kilometers of swimming and 15 kilometers of running.
Oh, wow. How fit does someone have to be in order to participate in the swim run?
Yeah, good question. So a lot of the people that are signing up right now, we have a very large range of fitness. We have some people that are signing up that are competitive triathletes in Canada, some top placers actually, and a lot of people that have been training with us through our Borealis swim group are interested in competing, and they are more of the master swim level type of competition as well. So I think whether you're signing up for a 5K or the 20K, we're really trying to cater an environment of inclusion to all athletic abilities. If you find yourself thinking like, oh my God, 1.5 kilometers of swimming, it's a lot of swimming. 3.5 kilometers of running, I think most people can train up to, and 1.5 kilometers of swimming, most people can train up to as well. Joining our Swim Masters group is a great way to get your swimming fitness up. We're posting regular posts through our email chain through Borealis about recommended training schedules, gear for people to use for a swim run. But the most important thing is we're trying to make it environmental of inclusion for all athletes to compete.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And I know there is a lot of gear that you can use for the swim run, but the trick is you have to take it with you while you're running and while you're swimming.
Yeah. So swim runs become an adventure race and a bit tricky, and there's a bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Like everyone has their own style that does it regularly, and there's no real rules about what you can bring with you and what you don't have to bring with you. But people have to get smart about what they're bringing with them. Like the two things that are probably the biggest lifesavers for most people are a really good pair of running shoes and a wetsuit. Running shoes, you want running shoes that can drain water really well, because if you're gonna if you're swimming with them or you're not gonna swim with them on, you have to bring your running shoes with you as you're going. So you want to be able to get out of the water and your running shoes to be able to drain water very well. A lot of people will attach a carabiner to their running shoes and then clip the carabiner to their wetsuit and swim with it. Or they might just swim with the running shoes on if they have shoes that are more buoyant than heavy. So that's one recommendation we make to a lot of people, if your running shoes can slip on and off really easily as well. Wetsuits, not a mandatory thing, but you definitely want athletic clothes that are more like bike shorts or more like a wetsuit, something that you're going to feel comfortable running and swimming in, but doesn't retain water. So whenever you're getting out of the water, you want to be able to be running in something that isn't going to chafe, that isn't going to slow you down, and while you're swimming, it's not going to be heavy and slow you down as well. So having something that you don't have to change in and out of every time you transition, but have something that's comfortable for both as well.
Yes, it's a good idea to plan ahead.
It's a good idea to plan ahead. So a way to help figure out what's kind of best for you to use gear-wise, you can always refer to our email chain, or we're always posting videos or pictures on our Facebook group, Kenora Borealis Multisport Group. Other things that people do that I think that most people would find beneficial, especially if you're not the strongest swimmer, is using pull buoys and paddles. So a lot of people will bring a pull buoy with them the entire course, and they can simply swim with the pull buoy on their leg, and then when they're running with it, they have either like a cord or some type of fastening strap to keep the pull buoy attached to their leg. So when they're running, they just shift the pull buoy to the outside of their leg and run with it, and when they're swimming, they just shift it back to the inside of their leg. So it helps keep their swimming easy and gives their legs a break while they're swimming.
No, it's very clever.
Yeah.
And then it's not like a hassle to have to figure out how you want to carry it while you're running.
Exactly. Or and while you're swimming, it allows for ease of transition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even with the paddles, like I've seen pictures of guys and women with the paddles, like they've zip tied the paddles to their hands. So when they're running, it's like they have the paddles on their hands, and then when they jump in the water, they can easily just paddle with them.
Okay. And I know you're looking for a bunch of volunteers and sponsors for the event as well.
Yeah, so really volunteers every year for our triathlon have been one of the most important things to help make the event happen. We really need people. If you're not considering being involved in the event as an athlete, we really need people the day of the event to help set up, take down the course, and direct athletes to where they need to go. The more hands we have, the easier the work becomes for those involved. There's lots of us with Kenora Borealis on the board who spend a lot of time during the year getting ready for this event in terms of designing the course, getting sponsorships together, getting course packages ready, being in contact with everyone to help make the event run. But the volunteers the day of the event really help organize the event and everything.
Okay, that's awesome. And then Water's going to be given out at the event too.
Yeah, so we're gonna have, like, usually at our events we have, you know, water for all the athletes. We have snacks for after the race. We have swag bags for all the athletes. That will have either local sponsorship packages or gear involved with Kenora Borealis. We also do. We're also going to be teaming up with the Swim Sharks, and they're going to be hosting a fundraiser barbecue at the event as well. So if you're not racing and you're watching someone race, you can grab like a something at the barbecue.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like a lot of planning has gone into this event, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming and telling us all about the swim run today.